Hello viewers, today we're just going to be replacing the exhaust flange gasket in the front where the Y pipe connects on this 2015 Toyota Sienna. This Sienna is equipped with all-wheel drive, and so this has the 3.5 liter V6 2GR FE engine, the all-wheel drive Sienna exhaust system is a little bit different compared to the front wheel drive Sienna. I just have the flange gasket here. The customer wanted me to go ahead to replace the flange gasket because the two pipings, the connections are rusted out. So we're gonna grind down and get rid of the old rusted studs and bolts. We're gonna put new bolts and nuts in between the flanges. And so I have the flange gasket from the Toyota dealership, part number 90080433036. So we are going to go ahead now and start working on it. So the exhaust flange that we need to access is just hiding behind here. I'm just going to remove the plastic cover out of the way to give us a little bit better access. So we are going to take this off first. There are 4 of the 10mm bolts and a clip to take out, so we are going to get that off. So there's still 2 more 10mm in the back over here. So there's 2 bolts in the back and the 2 of the long screws in the front. There's a clip over here that needs to be taken off. And then you should just be able to slide the plastic out of the way. So the exhaust flange that we are going to be working on is right here. It's this one over here. It's I just call it a Y pipe because it's a shape of a Y. So it goes into both of the manifolds on this direction and in this direction. So we're just going to be doing this one here. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to grind down the supposedly there was a bolt here. It's no longer really a bolt now, it's all rust. So we're gonna grind this down and the other side down. There's only two studs and nuts on each side, so we are going to grind it down on this end and at the other end to get it out, and we are just going to knock out the studs afterwards. You can use on whatever you want to use, either like a cut-off wheel or sanding discs or something. You can use anything you want. There's no right or wrong answer. So I'm just going to grind these down by using a very coarse sanding disc, like a 36 grit Rolock wheel from the die grinder. So we are just going to do that. So I'm just going to work my way through and to grind this down. Make sure you are wearing a PPE, personal protective equipment. I'm wearing a very light welding jacket so I don't get any of the sparks or anything on my skin. And you should also wear a face shield if you have one, and or goggles. So we're just going to keep on grinding until you can see the circular piece. And then we're just going to knock out the stud. Grab yourself a chisel and a small hammer to knock it out. Stud will be a little bit hot, so be careful. This is the old stud. And so now we just need to repeat the procedure now for the other one. You can also use an air hammer as well if you don't want to use the punch or chisel. There you go. It's out now. By the time you grind it down and everything, it will already have been heated up. So you don't need to heat anything up, because when you grind it down, that's going to transfer the heat over. So you'll be able to hammer the stud out easily. So now we should be able to separate this now to get it out of the way, hopefully, without too much trouble. Hopefully I don't have to take out the other part of the pipe in order to get it out. So right now I'm not able to separate this because there's no room to separate it. I will have to take this off and to take the top part out as well in order to separate it, or I have to take the pipe section on this side out all the way going to the front. So I'll have to take it off from here, from where the catalytic converter goes on bank 2. And so it's a lot more work with all the rust and stuff for the bracket and everything. So for now I'm just going to leave it alone, because I don't have the additional parts to work on it at the moment. So for now I'm just going to put in the new bolts, and hopefully it won't leak for now until the customer wants to resume and continue this job. So we're just going to put the bolts this way and the nuts this way, and just leave it at that for now. This is an M10 by 1.25 by 40 bolt, and then the nut M10 by 1.25 nut. Hopefully I can put the bolt through here without too many issues or trouble. just tightening down the hardware now. So we're just going to tighten up the bolts and the nut. And the same for the other side. That should be it for now. Probably just going to double check for any exhaust leaks, and we should be all good to go. I'm just hoping to resume this repair probably later in the future. Double check for leaks, make sure it's not leaking. Not just the AC condensation, so there's nothing leaking here. We just wanted to replace it because of the rusted studs. It should be all good to go now. So we're just gonna reinstall the plastic cover, and then that's it for now. So fast forward a couple weeks now, I ended up getting the entire pipe, the front pipe for the exhaust. So I'm going to be replacing this along with the flange gaskets, the front and the rear of the pipe. And this pipe, it comes with the clamp. This is where it's going to be uh, mounted onto the bracket. This is where it's going to be mounted onto the bracket. So it comes with the clamp. And one other thing that you guys may not know is that recently I replaced the Bank 2 sensor 2 oxygen sensor, and there was an issue with the threads on the bung. On the bung here, there was a problem with it. Somehow I managed to fix the threads and install a new Bank 2 sensor 2 oxygen sensor. I told the customer that they don't need to replace this pipe, but they told me to go ahead and replace it anyways upon the customer's request. I told the customer that they don't need to replace the pipe, but they wanted to replace it anyways. So I just ordered the part, and it's here now. The part number for this one, this is for the all-wheel drive Sienna 17410-0P231. One other thing I wanted to mention is the fixed hex nuts that come with the exhaust pipe. I'm going to get rid of these hex nuts because they rust and they degrade, and then you will have a hard time trying to get these off. I usually just grind these off, and then I put new bolts and nuts because serviceability is often very difficult. If in the future you want to remove this exhaust pipe, if you need to do some work, and often these nuts they rot away, so I'm just going to get rid of this. I already have the bolts and the nuts already installed on the exhaust, so I'm just going to be using that in place of this. So I'm going to get started in replacing this pipe. I'm going to list all of the part numbers and everything that you will need to do the job. I will leave them in the description and in the comments section. So what we are going to do is to remove the oxygen sensor. We're just going to loosen it up and disconnect it. And then for this bracket, we're just going to grind down on where the line is. We're going to grind it down and take it off. You don't need to remove these bolts or bracket here. So we are going to leave this. All this does is just holds it into place against the bracket. So we're just going to grind this down and remove it. We're going to loosen up the O2 sensor. Just need to loosen it up a tad bit. So it's loose. So that way I don't need to fight with it. You can tell that the threads are messed up here. Yeah, the threads are no good. See, the threads are stripped because there was an issue with the bung. So we may need to replace this sensor again. I'm not sure. Now we're just going to make a line here to grind it down and have to cut it off. You know, should be able to get this off now. Just you can knock it out to the side, so you don't need to really take it completely out if you don't want to. So now we need to remove the 14 millimeter nuts that's on the stud here. Hopefully we'll be able to get it out. Otherwise we need to heat it up. I did get some spare nuts and studs just in case. So, but if the studs are still okay, we'll probably reuse them. So most likely we'll need to heat these up because they're not exactly cooperating. So I unplugged the oxygen sensor. I'm just going to get it out of the way for now. I'll see if I can reuse this or not. I may have to repair the threads because the threads are damaged. Because last time I was in a desperate situation to get the sensor in, and so now we probably have some issues with the threads. So we'll see on what happens. So I'm just going to heat this up now. It's loosening up now. So I got it out maybe a quarter through or halfway through. So I'm going to reheat it up. If the stud is okay, I will reuse these studs. If not, then I'll have to replace them. I got some spare studs just in case. It's pretty much almost red hot. So this stud is damaged, so we're going to have to hammer it out. It's gonna break now, so I'm just going to hammer that stud out, and that's gonna be it, because there's no saving that. When you live in the Rust Belt, you're gonna run into these issues. So try to heat it up, but there's no cigar. So anyways, try to knock it out with a chisel or something. I'm just using an induction heater, the mini ductor Venom HP. You can also use like a propane or a MAP torch or oxyacetylene torch if you want. Uh, Either or works fine. So this one is not too bad. This one seems to be cooperating okay. Just need a little bit of heat. I'm just doing it by hand, because earlier I didn't want to damage anything, but now I already broke the one stud, so this one came out okay. It's I forgot to mention that it's a 14 millimeter for the nuts. I may put just regular bolts. If not, then I'll just put in studs. You can see the stud here is still intact. And this one here is broken. So I'm just going to remove the plastic cover to gain access to the other side of the pipe. So this is the other side of the pipe that I did earlier in the video. So I'm just continuing off. I already removed the rusted bolts and nuts. So I'm just going to take this off now. This is a 14 M10 by 1.25 by 40 bolt. It's a 40 millimeter length bolt. So M10 by 1.25, and the nut is a M10 as well. It's on very tight. This is 2 weeks later, so there you go. Just trying to loosen the nut to get it out. Now the other side. Now everything should be able to come out now. If you want, you can put some anti-seize on these bolts for later so that they don't seize up in the future. So I should be able to separate the pipe now. Just trying to work it to get it off of the studs. So these studs, I just found out that the studs are an E10 Torx. You are supposed to loosen up the studs. I have the new studs here, and you can see there's a E10 Torx. So you are supposed to loosen them and take them out. These ones don't push in, unfortunately. So we are going to try to take them off. The broken one is going to be a bit more of a challenge, but we're going to try to get these studs out and replace them with brand new ones. This will make it easier to get the exhaust pipe out as well. So as we are doing this, should be able to get it out. Let's see if we can take this out now. We still need a torch in the majority of cases. So, I mean, in some cases, you still need a torch. The inductive heater thing is not always going to work. The piece broke off now. So now we have some more issues. I have a stud extractor tool. So I'm probably going to have to heat it up some more and then try to get something on there to get it out. So I ran into some problems here, but I still managed to get the exhaust pipe out. It was a lot harder than what I initially anticipated that this job was going to be. So uh, just got the pipe out. I lifted the transmission slightly just to give me some more room clearance to get the pipe out because there's not much clearance to get the pipe out off of this one, and that the transfer case is in the way. So it's really it's pretty tough. So I was able to get it out now, as you can see. So it's kind of a challenge. I just put a block of wood and a bottle jack on the transmission pan just to give me a few inches or something of room so I'm able to get the pipe out. So there's a specific way to route the pipe in and out. So anyhow, I'm going to get busy to get the studs out and we can finish up cleaning up the exhaust flanges and install our new gaskets. So earlier I was using the exhaust stud removal socket tool. This helps to get the rounded off or stripped studs. You can see on where it broke off. This is I believe it's a 10 millimeter. So I have to get this out. This is where it broke off. There's still some more. The other end of the piece of the stud, so I need to take out. So I'm probably going to heat it up some more so I can get it out and install brand new studs. So you can see on this one it's an open-ended one, so you're able to knock out the stud after you get them out. Just shining some light so you guys can see. So this is an AST. It comes in a set. I believe it has a 6, 8, 10, and 12 millimeters for this set. So I'm just going to knock it out, heat up the studs again, and try to get them out. So initially, I wanted to cut it off so I can just get the pipe out so I can work on the studs. You can see on where the bung was badly stripped out, the threads for the oxygen sensor. So I try to fix it, but it's too deep. It's too badly damaged to save it. You can put like an insert or something, but I'm not going to do that. I just got a replacement a pipe, so I'm just going to uh to do that. I'm just comparing the old and the new piping. Just make sure everything is the correct size and the type for the pipe. Make sure everything is the correct part number and everything. The on the bends, just make sure everything is right before you take it out. So that way you have that correct part before you start working on the job. So now I've been working on this thing. Both of the studs are broken. So I'm just going to try to drill it and air hammer it out and see if that works. Uh, just trying to drill out the metal and air hammer it out because there's no amount of heat is working to get these studs out. So I'm gonna keep on doing that. was using a 17/64 drill bit. Now I changed to a 21/64 drill bit. So I'm still drilling through. I think I'm almost there. Hopefully it's going to be okay after I get all the way out, all the way through. So this hole's pretty much drilled all the way through, just making some room to get the rest of the material out so I can fit. I'm just gonna put a bolt and a nut just the same way I did it with the other one. So need to make a large enough hole on where the stud was so I can fit a bolt in there. Then I'll have to do this one after. So after you have drilled the hole through, you can slowly increase the drill bit size to get it to where you want it, so you're able to fit the bolt through. I'm just trying to see if I'm able to get the bolt through. So just keep on increasing the hole slightly until you're able to put the bolt through, and then you should be okay after that. So I finally finished drilling the holes through. I still need to clean down the surface, clean all the rust and everything down, and to smoothen it out. Now, typically, I get a spare bolt to put it through if you're not able to put it through smoothly. So typically, I just put a bolt through, and then I try to use like a socket and a ratchet to to tighten it up to get it through, and that will enlarge the hole slightly. Make sure you use a spare bolt that you're not going to use, so because it's going to get damaged. So after I know that the hole is big enough just to put the bolt through, I just like to run the bolt through just all the way in and then all the way out. So that way I'm able to fit the new bolts smoothly. And the same for the other side. That way I know that the bolt is gonna go in smoothly when I have the pipe and everything in. I'll be able to put the bolts in without any problems. And we're gonna grab the wire wheel after to clean the inner surface. So in case that you're still not able to fit the bolt all the way through, then you will need to increase the drill bit size to go to the next one up. This is a 25/64. This is a cobalt drill bit. I forgot to mention that earlier in the video. You will need a cobalt drill bit or better in order to drill through these studs, because it's kind of like solid steel, so it's very hard to drill through them. So I'm going to enlarge the hole a little bit so I can get the bolts through. And now it's going through easily. So you will need to get the drill. It will need to be spinning just before you get it through the hole, because otherwise it's just going to stop. So make sure that the drill is going at the same time when you are putting it through. Otherwise the drill bit is going to get caught inside the hole. So I'm just trying to see on what the length bolt to use, because I don't have too much room to put the bolts through. So I'm using a M10 by 1.25 by 30 bolt. That could work. So I'm trying to see if I can get them from behind, because the 40 millimeter length is a bit too long for it to fit through. So I'm using these instead. Trying to see if this one goes through. Just doing a dry fit. Okay, that should be okay now. I'll probably install a nuts on this side, and you may need to hold the bolt on the other end as you are getting the exhaust pipe through. So I'm going to finish up on the other end, and then probably gonna install some put some exhaust sealer and stuff just in case, and then just go from there. So now I'm just going to clean this off camera, because it's the same exact thing as the one on where the catalytic converter is. So I'm just going to clean this up, and then we're going to proceed to install the exhaust pipe. So when you purchase the exhaust pipe, there will be a few stickers on them. It's up to you if you want to grind them down. I just use a die grinder or something to grind down the sticker carefully. Or you can use a wire wheel. It doesn't really matter, because the sticker is going to burn off anyways, because it's exhaust. So there shouldn't be any issues there. So I already installed the gaskets onto the flanges on the front and rear. So I will post the part number on the screen for you guys to see. So I put the exhaust gaskets already on the flanges, and we're just gonna apply a little bit of the Permatex Ultra Copper gasket maker onto the vehicle, just in case, because of uh, imperfections on the flanges. So I just like to use this just in case, because I don't want to have any exhaust leaks. So I applied a little bit of the sealer on that end, and then I put some on this end over here. It's kind of messy, but that's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. So I'm just going to raise the transmission up again, and then reroute the exhaust pipe. I'm going to reroute the pipe, trying to get it through. So everything is all finished now. I reinstalled the new oxygen sensor for bank 2, sensor 2, and a brand new clamp. I used a channel lock to hold down on this bracket piece, and to also hold down onto the clamp to get the bolt in. I put a little bit of anti-seize on that, just in case if I need to take it off in the future. And all the way in the back, I put back the new bolts and nuts that I had on previously, earlier in the video. This pipe is very difficult to install on this vehicle for some reason. I didn't want to remove the Y pipe or anything like that, but I did have to use a jack or bottle jack just to raise the transmission a tiny bit to give myself some room. I did end up drilling out all of the both of the holes, so I actually ended up using smaller bolts than what I anticipated. I had a hard time trying to line up the bolts and stuff, so I actually had to raise up and hold the exhaust with the bottle jack while I got the bolts lined up and stuff. I couldn't film everything because I ran into a hard time trying to get this all done. So now everything is okay. I made sure the oxygen sensor is installed properly in the back. There's a connector and where it goes to. And so I just put a bolt through behind the catalytic converter through the pipe and a couple of nuts. So all is good now. Everything is tight. I double checked for leaks, and that's about it. That's all there is to it for replacing the front pipe on this all-wheel drive Sienna. So that's it for this one. It's very sunny outside. I don't want to be directly in the sun because it's gonna be in the way of the camera. That's all there is to it for the exhaust pipe. I had one hell of a hard time, to be honest. There were some things just didn't work out on this van, but I still managed and I got everything done. And I was having a look at another vehicle not too long ago. So anyhow, I think that's gonna be it for today. If you enjoyed this one and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.